Hello there, busy moms. It's me again. I was trying to wait for the right time, the right day, the right environment in order to do this post, but I'm thinking that there is no right time or right place in order for this to happen. It needs to take place because it's just been in my head that I need to post no means no. This is going to be short, sweet, and to the point. And basically, moms, it was just a series of events that led me to, the realization that this message needs to be out there. When you are talking to your kids and you tell them no for whatever reason, whether it's, can I play the video game tonight? Can I go to my friend's house? Can I ride in the front seat of the car? Irregardless of what it is, if you tell your kids no, you have to be prepared to stick with your guns. Just realize if your no doesn't mean no and your no means maybe, or your no means yeah, if you ride me hard enough or if you push long enough, then your kids pick up really quick. They're like sponges. We say that all the time when learning and language. They pick up whatever, messages you send out, verbal or nonverbal. So if you say, no, you can't have that candy, and then they ask you while you're on the phone, or they consistently beg and beg and beg, or they wait till you're around your friends, and then eventually you say yes. Well, they realize that no doesn't mean no. No means not right now, or no means you need to be more strategic about it and you'll get your way. Then what's going to happen is your kids are going to use that strategy and that skill because they are smart in order to get their way more and more often. And what's going to happen is oftentimes you're doing it to appease them. You don't want them to cry. You don't want them to be sad. You don't want them to act up in front of your friends. But in the end, it's simply going to make it worse because they're going to realize that, if mom says no, I'm going to keep with this negative behavior that's going to allow her to give in. Basically, my big rules for saying no, say no to the things that you are willing to stick with and mean no. Otherwise, say, let me think about it, or give them options, or, allow them to have it. If it's not that big of a deal, give them a time frame for later on if that's acceptable. But don't tell them no, knowing that there's a good chance that you are going to change your mind later. Also, don't tell them no to something that really it's going to cause you more trouble in the long run than to be creative about allowing them the option. So maybe it's no, you can't have that candy. Instead, maybe you allow them a healthier option. And that goes back to choices, I suppose. So, really make sure that the no that you are putting out there is something that you are going to stick with and support. Otherwise, offer something different. Offer another option. I'm trying to make sure I cover this one because it's been in my head for a really long time. Parents, you really just want your kids to be able to take you at your word. And that's the other thing, is having your kids know that you mean what you say, because that's so important for all of us. You don't want to be that person that they say one thing, but you never know. It might turn into something else. I really pride myself on being a person of my word. Sometimes we forget. Kids are good at realizing that can happen. But, do your best to stick with the message that you're giving them, that they need to listen to what it is that you're telling them. And I know with my kids sometimes I have to say no. And then there's this whole, well, what about, and maybe, and you said before, and then I just repeat what was my answer. I can be such a repetitious robot sometimes. What did I say? What was the last thing I told you? And then they get the point, you said no. And that's what you're going to stick with. And, it goes a long way. And I have students of mine even who, it's one of those things that they might argue with someone else, but they know when Miss Johnson says no, it means no. And to argue is not going to get you anywhere. We want to teach our kids to argue when necessary, but in authoritative positions, you need to express your points in a way that aren't argumentative. And when the bottom line is that the situation is not meant for your harm, it's meant for your good, and the person is there and is in that position of authority, then you go along with what's being stated. Now, again, we want to teach them to argue in times when it's needed. You don't go along with something that's hurting you or that's completely unjust, but, you also have to express to kids. Unjust as a kid is a little bit different because the rules for kids are different. When you're a parent, it's different with adults in government, but you do allow them options and you do allow them opportunities for discussion when, it's allowed. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's not about saying no. Sometimes it's about tell me why you want it. Tell them, I was going to say no, but if you can give me a good reason why I should let this happen, then go for it. So really exercise good ways of teaching your kids to make choices, but also realizing that you are the parent, and at the end of the day, as long as you are doing the right thing and being a good parent, your word is your word, and they need to listen and follow directions. So that's it. I hope that was beneficial to some. It's just something that was in my head. Please comment. Let me know how you're feeling. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, recommendations, if you were like, can you tell me something different? I didn't really like that. Let me know. I'd be glad to hear it. Thanks, guys. Bye.